There's a version of Corrado Soprano where none of it goes the way it went, where the brother doesn't overshadow him, where the mob gives him his due, where the woman he loves doesn't end up with someone else. In that version, Junior is a bitter but manageable old man who tells good stories and makes people laugh. What the show gives us instead is what happens when a man spends 70 years waiting for the respect he believes he's owed, and never quite gets it. By the time it arrives, he's already too broken to hold it.
Fran Feldstein. I was in love with that woman. I wanted to propose. I had the ring all picked out. How could I bring this life we live on a woman? Your father shows up. Side divorce suit, 2-inch lapel. That was that. She never knew my feelings. What could I do? For years, I suffered in silence.
He had the ring. He just hesitated. And his brother walked in wearing the right suit, and that was the end of it. Junior is telling Tony this story decades later, as an old man at the end of his life, with the dementia already beginning. And you can hear it fresh in his voice. He never got over it. Not because he was weak, because it wasn't just about the woman. It was about what the moment meant. That Johnny boy, simply by existing, was more. More magnetic, more commanding, more present. Junior could plan and prepare and have the ring ready, and still lose to a suit and a walk through the door. He spent the rest of his life making sure that feeling never happened again.
Johnny was a saint. Junior couldn't carry Johnny's socks. Do you think I'd blacken my Johnny's memory by getting mixed up with his brother?
Junior couldn't carry Johnny's socks. Livia says it like she's describing the weather. Not angry, not cruel on purpose, just accurate in her mind. And this is the woman Junior spent his whole life trying to impress. The mother figure of the family. She never saw him as the equal of his brother. Neither did the mob. Neither, eventually, did Tony. Junior spent 60 years in the shadow of a man who had been dead for decades, and he never once stopped trying to step out of it.
When you kiss me down there, you're like a great artist. You got a real instinct for it.
Pass me them red peppers.
Why the big secret? What's so terrible about pleasing a woman?
Because they think if you suck pussy, you'll suck anything. It's a sign of weakness, and possibly a sign that you're a fanook.
He has found something that brings genuine tenderness to his relationship. Something Roberta clearly values. Something that makes him good at intimacy. And he is ashamed of it. Because the opinion of men who will never know about it matters more to him than the reality of what he has. Junior is so trapped inside the idea of how he is perceived that he cannot enjoy the private truth of who he actually is. This pattern runs through his entire life. The performance of hardness always wins over the reality underneath it.
Because he's a fucking mental weakling. He's seeing a psychiatrist, for Christ's sake. My nephew is seeing a psychiatrist. Makes me want to cry.
Makes me want to cry. Junior says this about his nephew being in therapy. A man seeking help for genuine psychological suffering. And his reaction is pure shame. The idea that anyone in his family would admit to needing help, would sit in a room and talk about their feelings, is a humiliation by association. Because for Junior, any form of vulnerability is weakness. And weakness is the thing that gets you overshadowed, that gets your woman taken, that loses you the respect you've been chasing your whole life. He built a wall against vulnerability so high and so old that he can't remember there was ever a reason for it.
Uncle Junior's my father's brother. I love my uncle. At the same time, when I was young, he told my girl cousins I would never be a varsity athlete, and frankly, that was a tremendous blow to my self-esteem.
What are you asking him for? He never even had the makings of a varsity athlete.
Why does a grown man tell a child's girl cousins that the child will never be a varsity athlete? Think about that for a second. It's not cruelty for its own sake. It's something more specific. It's a man who needs to be the smartest, sharpest, most perceptive person in the room establishing his superiority over someone who hasn't even hit puberty yet. Junior's need to demonstrate his intelligence, his eye for weakness, his ability to cut to the truth about people, is one of his defining traits. He is genuinely perceptive. He reads people accurately. But he can never just hold that knowledge quietly. He has to use it. He has to make sure everyone knows he saw what they missed. That compulsion is what made him dangerous, and it's what made him lonely.
He's texting me, Tony.
He's texting you. When did this happen?
Today.
Michael's been boss of the family 10 fucking minutes already. I got agita.
He's a boss now, Tony. He can call the tune, we all dance to it. It's the way it's always been done.
The moment Junior gets the title, he immediately starts taxing people who had operated without tax for years, breaking arrangements that worked, creating conflicts he doesn't need. It's not greed. He has money. It's the need to assert that things are different now, that he's in charge, that the old rules only existed because the old boss allowed them, and this boss has his own standards. Junior can't just be boss. He has to be seen being boss. He has to make the shape of his authority visible, which is exactly what a man who suspects his authority is hollow would do.
You still in Belleville?
Same house, What's Sensing Avenue?
Maybe we could have coffee. Catch up.
The doctor says I'm not supposed to leave the house. Too much stress.
Same house. Watsessing Avenue, where a man in this world lives, is a confession. Junior's house is the same house he was in before the mob, during the mob, through the trial, through the cancer, through everything. He never moved, not because he couldn't afford to, because the house isn't the point. The house is where Junior's private self lives. The self that sings when nobody's watching, that loves a woman he never told, that reads books and writes letters to vice presidents. The house stayed the same because the person inside it never got to become what he wanted to be. Everything he wanted went outward, into the title, into the performance, into the reputation. The house is what's left when all of that is taken away.
My nephew running things? Not that Struns. Not in this life.
Even facing federal prison with a guaranteed deal on the table, Junior won't betray the life. Think about what that means. This man spent his life being used, overshadowed, humiliated, and manipulated by his own nephew. And in that interrogation room, listening to the feds lay it all out, telling him to his face that his own family set him up as a lightning rod, when they hand him the perfect, justified way out, he still says no. The code is more important than survival. The reputation is more important than his freedom. The performance of loyalty, even when the people he is protecting have completely betrayed him, is the thing Junior cannot abandon. Because if he abandoned it, who would he be? He'd just be Johnny's lesser brother. An old man in a small house. Nobody. Despite any arrangements, he knows. On some level, even with a dementia beginning, Junior knows that the title was theater. He knows Tony ran things. He knows he was the lightning rod. And he asserts his bosshood anyway. Not because he's deluded, because the assertion is all he has left. A man who lets go of the claim has nothing. So Junior holds onto it past all reason, past the cognitive decline, past the shooting, past everything. He will be the boss of this family until he cannot form the sentence anymore, and that, more than anything else, tells you what the title meant to him. Not power, proof that he was real, that he mattered, that the life he chose, the sacrifices, the violence, the loneliness, the woman he never married amounted to something.
Dear Vice President Cheney, as a powerful man all too familiar with accidental gunplay, I am writing in the hope that you will intervene in my case. Like yourself, I was involved in an unfortunate incident when a gun I was handling misfired.
He wrote a letter to the vice president. He signed it respectfully. He dictated it in a state psychiatric facility where an orderly was selling autographed photos of him on eBay. And in it, he identifies himself. A mob boss, a murderer, a man who spent decades in organized crime, as the peer of the second most powerful man in the United States. Because why not? He was the boss of the DiMeo crime family. He beat cancer. He survived a failed assassination. He survived his own assassination attempt. He corresponded with governments. That's who Junior Soprano was, in his own mind, to the very end. Not Johnny's lesser brother. Not Tony's lightning rod. Not a confused old man in a facility. A powerful man, writing to another powerful man, about an unfortunate incident with a firearm. Respectfully, Corrado Soprano. Junior Soprano's problem was not the mob, or Tony, or Livia, or the FBI, or the cancer, or the dementia. His problem was simpler and older than any of those things. He wanted to matter. He wanted to be seen clearly. Not as Johnny's shadow, not as a useful tool, not as a lightning rod. Just as himself, on his own terms, worth something on his own account. He had the capacity for tenderness with Roberta, with the singing, with the woman he never asked. He had genuine intelligence and a real instinct for people. He had, somewhere underneath everything, a person worth knowing. The tragedy of Junior Soprano is not that he was a bad man. It's that he became one, slowly, incrementally, choice by choice. Because the thing he needed most was the one thing the life he chose could never give him. Not respect, recognition. The two aren't the same thing. Junior knew the difference. He just never found a way to say so.